welcome back to my channel and welcome to Bookmas. Today is the official first day and I'm so excited. I can't wait to just put out all of this content for you guys and to just get in the holiday spirit right before Christmas. I'm going to be posting every other day leading up to Christmas because every day is just insane. That's insane. I can't do it. Props to those people that can. So we're going to do every other day. And of course, our first day, it has to be our monthly TBR. Now, I will preface this by saying this is not my holiday TBR. Yes, I'm still being ridiculous even in the last month of the year. I do have a separate holiday TBR that I will reveal to you guys at some point, but it involves going book shopping for Christmassy books, and we're not quite there yet. So I will eventually show you guys what I'm hoping to read that's holiday themed this year, but right now this is just going to be a regular monthly TBR, which means I have my non-negotiables in here. I did try to pick at least one Christmas themed one if possible. I feel like I had an Agatha Christie earlier in the year that was Christmas themed that I probably should have waited to use until now, but is what it is. So my Mary Higgins Clark is called The Christmas Thief, and she wrote this with her daughter, actually, Carol Higgins Clark. It says, the folks who picked up a beautiful 80-foot blue spruce from Stowe, Vermont to be Rockefeller Center's famous Christmas tree don't have a clue that Packy Nonan, a scam artist just released from prison, hid priceless diamonds in it more than 12 years ago. How does one hide diamonds in a Christmas tree? But when Packy learns that his special tree will be heading to New York City the next morning, he knows he has to act fast. What Packy doesn't know is that Elvira, everyone's favorite lottery winner turned amateur sleuth and savvy private investigator Reagan Riley, are visiting Stowe with their friend Opal, who lost all her lottery winnings in Packy's scheme. And just when they're supposed to head home, they learn that the tree is missing and that Opal has disappeared. We'll see how this one goes. I'm not a huge fan of Elvira's stories normally for some odd reason. I just feel like I don't appreciate... I'm assuming it's Carol's writing that I don't necessarily vibe with because most Mary Higgins Clark books are decent, if not good. And the ones that I don't end up liking have Carol in them, so we'll see. Hopefully this one isn't a miss for Christmas time, but not entirely sure. Then we have Great Expectations by Charles Dickens for my classic for the month. I know nothing about this one. It says, in the marshy mists of a village churchyard, a tiny orphan named Pip is suddenly terrified by a shivering, limping convict on the run. Years later, a supremely arrogant young Pip boards a coach to London where, by the grace of a mysterious benefactor, he will be joining the ranks of the idle rich and becoming a gentleman. Finally, in the luminous mists of the village at evening, Pipe the man meets Estella, his dazzling, beautiful tormentor, in a ruined garden, and lays to rest all the heartaches and illusions that his great expectations have brought upon him. I don't know. I feel like I probably should have read this sometime in college, and if I did, I don't remember it at all. I don't think I have. So, we'll see. It's, she's not too bad, but she's smaller than a lot of the other classics I have on my list, so hopefully we can end the year out with a semi-decent classic, because November's not it. That was not it. Then my Agatha Christie for the month, we have The Regatta Mystery. It says, the Christie's greats Hercule Poirot, Miss Parker Pyne, and Miss Marple give star performances in The Regatta Mystery. The fabulous Morning Star Diamond disappears and the stage is set for acts of murder. Okay, that's kind of fun. Wait, is this like short stories or do they all work together? Because that would be very... Oh, okay. I think these are short stories. This seems like a collection of short stories, which is okay. I do enjoy her short stories normally, as long as they're not like the ones centered around like spies. For some odd reason, those don't seem to hit very well, but I kind of like the idea of bouncing between her different main characters because all of them are fun in different aspects. Then moving into my December TBR, I will say you guys have seen my 2025 TBR or like my update by going over my 10 before the end. This is going to look very similar. And that's because I really needed to kind of hone in on that 25 in 2025 list this last month of year. This doesn't have every single book on it because at this point I just feel like that's not feasible, especially because I'm going to have a holiday TBR as well. So these are just the ones that I own the books for and think that I could potentially get through them and really wants to try to prioritize that out of the entire list. So first up we have Quicksilver. I don't know why I've been staring at this all year, putting it off. But now Brimstone came out, which is the second book in this series, and everybody's been really hyping that up again and hyping this book up again, and I need to get into this. I know that it's a fae fantasy, and that's all that I know about it. For some odd reason, whenever I see people talk about it, I've yet to get a plot in there for some odd reason, but I think there's like a broody main male character named Kingfisher, and that's about all that I really know. Then I would like to read the next book in the Magnolia Parks series. The whole series was on my list. I've read 2 of them. I think there's only 4, so maybe I could get both of the rest of them out of the way, that doesn't sound great, but like read before the year ends, but I'm not entirely sure. So the next one that I do need to read that I would prioritize is Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home. And this one obviously follows Magnolia Parks. They kind of go back and forth between her and Daisy Hates. This says that it's kind of a year after everything happens in the first book. And it says that since then it seems like a lot has changed. I don't really want to get too into what has changed because that's obviously going to give away stuff for the end of the first book. But I'm excited to be back with these characters. I really wasn't a huge fan of the Daisy Hates book. I'm not sure why. I just couldn't get behind her character as much, and I'm hoping that I'll appreciate the writing again in this one, because the one in Daisy Hates, like that writing style, I just didn't really enjoy. There was a lot of footnotes. I'm hoping we're done with the footnotes and that I can just enjoy being back in this universe again. Then we have Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I was hoping to read this around fall time because it would have hit a little bit better, but alas, that did not happen. And this is about 2 sisters that are now strangers, but they are also survivors. It says that Claire is a glamorous trophy wife and an Atlanta millionaire. Lydia is a single mother dating an ex-con, struggling to make ends meet, but neither has recovered from the disappearance of their sister Julia 2 decades earlier, and the shocking murder of Claire's husband brings the horror and heartbreak of the past roaring back into their lives. The vanishing of a teenage girl and the killing of a middle-aged man, almost a quarter century apart, what could connect them? As they form a wary truce, the surviving sisters unearth the secrets that destroyed their family all those years ago and find the astonishing truth where they least expect it. I can't even begin to guess what is going to connect those 2 murders, but I think it's going to be a wild ride getting there. Everybody loves this book and this author, so it'll be fun to sort of throw something a little bit high stakes in around Christmas. Maybe read that at the beginning of the month, because once I get to Christmassy time, I don't think I'm going to really want those vibes. And same goes for this one, which is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This says what lies beneath the surface will always remain hidden. Casey Fletcher has escaped to her family's lake house for peace and quiet to mourn her late husband. When the glamorous couple across the lake catch her attention, she's mesmerized. They're perfect, just like Casey and her husband used to be. But is anyone what they seem? Is Casey as perfect as she thinks? She's a She's a detective sat at her kitchen table. She's a man bound and gagged upstairs. She's about to uncover a dark truth so life-changing that nothing will ever be the same again. Wait, what? I never read that tagline before. That's great. Okay. Yeah, so maybe try to read these 2 at the beginning of the month, like I said. Then we have Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I've been saving this for this time of year because, obviously, it is set in winter. So I wanted to read it around winter. And I am still not sure where this is set. I keep going back and forth between somewhere in the US and Canada or Sweden. I don't know where Sweden came from, but I know it is set in, like, winter, and it follows... See, this doesn't even tell me. I don't know where this is set, but I know that it follows a small town where hockey is just the biggest thing going for this town, and their school's hockey team is actually doing really well and has the potential to kind of get attraction for the town. So everybody's really wrapped up in it. I think this horrible thing happens at one point related to the hockey team, and it causes a lot of issues within the town. That's all I got. That's all I know for this one. I've heard that it's better to go into this one not really knowing the plot because it's just a lot more impactful that way, and people just really end up being moved by this story. So this will be my first Frederick Bachman. I've heard incredible things about his writing, and like I said, just the quality of the story and the way that it really moves people and evokes a lot of emotions. So I'm hoping that that is the case for me as well. This whole series was on my 2025 TBR, so maybe I'll get to the next book this month, but I'm not holding my breath on that. Then we have Indigo Ridge. This is a suspense romance kind of following Winslow Covington, who is the new chief of police in a town in Montana, and she's determined to prove that she got this from her own merits, not because her grandfather is mayor. And a lot of people tell her, hey, you need to like ingratiate yourself to this wealthy family in the town. The problem is she had a one-night stand with one of the sons in the family, and now she's trying to forget it because he's insufferable, arrogant, and keeps reminding everybody that she's an outsider. So it's kind of putting her off on the wrong foot with this family that she's supposed to be connecting with. The other part of the problem is that there is a dead body on their property, and she now has to investigate the family, which they don't really appreciate because of their status and everything that comes with that and the supposed privileges. So not really a great start for her. I've heard conflicting things. I read Debney Perry's fantasy book earlier in the year, which was Shield of Sparrows, and I loved it. So I'm hoping that I will love this as well. This is another series. And then lastly on the TBR, I'm hoping to read the next book in Throne of Glass. This is Crown of Midnight. I am reading this third in the series, but I think in some reading orders it comes second. I can't talk about this plot at all because that would really give away stuff for the first book, but the first book is following a young woman who is pulled out of prison and entered into this competition that the king is hosting, trying to find his champion, essentially an assassin that is going to work for him. And now she's like in this competition with some of them are assassins, some of them are thieves, some of them work for the king as guards, and she's sort of thrust into this battle. On the periphery is this tension between that kingdom and other kingdoms that have magic. So I'm not sure that they're fae completely, they might be, but I know that there's magic involved that the king is trying to overtake and just eradicate. So I think that that's going to start playing more heavily into the books as the series go on, but I'm not positive about that. So that's as much as I can give for this one because I don't want to give away the plot of the first one, obviously. So those are all the books that I'm hoping to read in December, again, aside from my holiday books, which I will share with you in a couple days, most likely. I'm not quite sure where that video is going to fall, but I do have one book shopping for Christmassy themed reads, so not to give away what's coming, but you know, if that brings you back. No, you know, I will have videos like that, and obviously I will try to read through all of those books. So anyway, not to ramble anymore, thank you guys so much for joining me for the first day of Bookmas. Like I said, I'm so excited to get into the holiday spirit this year. It's just, I have a lot to be thankful for this year, and I feel like it's culminating in Christmas, which I love. So that is all. I hope to see you in 2 days for the second day of Bookmas, and until then, I hope that you guys enjoy the beginning of your December and your holiday season if you guys celebrate. Bye.